The living coral to be attached later will come from the temporary museum where Bart Shepard is farming it. The new reef display will be enormous and must be covered in colorful living corals. But corals grow slowly, barely centimeters per year. He's carefully cultivating each piece in preparation for the move back across town.
This tank has grown in now over the past, say, 3 years, and we've really reached about maximum capacity with it. We can't fit but so much more coral in there. We can't fit but so many more fish in there. And so we're all really looking forward to the great expanse that the new facility will allow us.
The new giant tank will be home to the world's deepest aquarium coral reef and many thousands of fish. With all those windows and the intense water pressure bearing down, a leak would be catastrophic. To prevent them from cracking, they're not made of glass, but acrylic, and are almost half a meter thick. The double curve structure of the largest panel will also increase its strength. The panel is so big, it couldn't fit in the factory where it was made. There was no oven large enough to process it. Instead, they had to use a makeshift oven in the parking lot. It's more than 2 years since the builders broke ground, with crews sometimes exceeding 500 people a day. At last, the basic structure of this Noah's Ark is complete. Now, they need to see if it works.
Do they have drains?
No. That's a challenge. So, but I think that there's a number of ways.
The pressure is on. Today will be a monumental milestone in the construction of the new California Academy of Sciences.
Oh, back behind there.
With the artificial reef now finished, it's time to fill up the tank and test the incredible pressure from the water.
I bet these are fine. I bet this one peaks up above just a little bit, which is probably fine. I think this one up here, that's going to be the one that's above the water level.
But lime in the concrete will leach into the water and could be toxic to the animals in the tank. They must first neutralize the substrate before any fish or coral enters the tank.
There's about a 2-week process where we put acid into the water to help leach out some of that material.
Filling the tank will be the first test of the giant acrylic windows. When the tank is full of water, they'll be under enormous pressure. There's a chance they might leak. Workers must clean every last little piece of debris before the water comes in.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to pull everybody out of the tank, and then we're gonna go ahead and check the lineup and start the fill.
It's a nervous moment for Chief Engineer Jimmy Kirk as he heads down to the pump room.
Okay, we're ready to start. Is it all lined up?
We are lined up.
Okay, let's go to the potable water, open it up, and get started.
As the valves open, 800,000 liters of water rush into the tank.
Based on the height of the window and the size of the tank, I'd say about 400 pounds per square inch. So that's a lot of pressure. So if you ask about my biggest concern, that's my biggest concern. No leaks.
It will take several hours to fill the tank. Meanwhile, higher up, the team needs to find a way to transform the steel roof into a garden of native flowers. Growing plants on a roof is incredibly difficult. Roots must be able to grow down Water must drain from the soil, but underneath, the structure must be rigid and impermeable. They think they found the solution, but it requires 8 different layers of steel, concrete, fabric, and soil before the actual plants are laid on top. The plants are contained in a brand new type of bio-tray, invented especially for the Academy's roof. They're made of coconut husks and will eventually be integrated into the soil. The sloping hills make the job even more challenging.
These slopes are 60-degree slopes, the steeper ones. So it's imperative that you incorporate design elements that make sure that during a heavy storm, during the winter, that they will not slide down those slopes.
The patchwork of bio-trays sits within a grid of stone paths encased in wire. This grid work will hopefully prevent the plants from sliding off the roof. But until the next heavy rains, no one knows for sure whether or not they'll work. When the plants mature, it should be stunning. But the roof must do more than just look pretty. It's also got to perform. The roof's greatest mandate is to lower the electricity bill. About 18 centimeters of insulating soil should help do the trick.
We estimate that on a warm day, this living roof will cause this facility to be as much as 40 degrees cooler than comparable roofs in the area.
What's more, the roof functions like a breathing organism, reacting to changes in the environment.
If you could stand next to me here, you could feel the heat emanating from this skylight. In fact, these skylights actually open and close by heat sensors.
When heat in the rainforest below becomes too intense, the skylights open automatically, letting the building exhale. If all goes to plan, the Academy's living roof will dramatically reduce its energy needs. But that's only half the story. It must supply clean energy as well. Surrounding the native plants is a high-tech solar canopy designed to help power the museum.
Now we drop it into the track very carefully.
Installing the panels is dangerous work.
What keeps you, like I said, it keeps you alive, keeps you going, is being careful. Fear makes you safe.
Yeah, you got to be a little scared, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you weren't a little scared, then that probably wouldn't be a good thing.
Hanging the solar panels around the edge of the roof is another unique feature of Renzo Piano's innovative design.
The solar cell actually play the game of nature. They are like little leaves in the forest. The solar cell take the energy from the sun and they project a shadow underneath to create a canopy.
Each panel will generate 53 volts of clean electricity. There are 60,000 of them. When fully operational, the solar canopy should prevent the release of about 180 metric tons of greenhouse gases every year. The installation of the roof is almost complete. Whether it fulfills its maximum green potential remains to be seen. The building's still not ready for the animals to move in. Across town, the living collection is bursting out of its temporary home. More and more animals arrive in preparation for the big move. A valuable shipment has appeared from halfway around the world.
Well, this is our first big shipment of elasmobranchs, stingrays. These particular rays came from Taiwan.
It's been a long trip for the stingrays. Hopefully, they've all survived the journey.
This is some of the most elaborate and sophisticated packing and shipping techniques that I've ever seen. These are enclosed, fully enclosed, gas sealed. It has a little bit of water. It's filled with a bunch of pure oxygen and a carbon dioxide scrubber, which is actually removing the carbon dioxide that the animal excretes. The animals have been in these containers for approaching 24 hours.
16 stingrays boarded the plane in Taiwan, and all 16 have made it here alive. The fish have been wallowing in dirty water since they left Taiwan the day before. A clean bath is only moments away. The fish is sexed, measured, and weighed. Then finally released. But it's only a temporary holding tank. They still have a few months to wait until they're moved to the new museum. It's been a long, busy day. Several hours later, the coral reef tank is full.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a huge day for us, and we're very excited to see this tank filled with water and circulating. Our concerns really at this point are making sure that all of the seals are watertight, there isn't any bulging going on with the seals.
But there's a problem with the seal around one of the windows.
Well, what do you think about that? I mean, air bubble trapped in there? Or?
I don't know. It looks pretty ugly. It's now worse. It's about, like, that big.
Okay. That's
so I'm going to
interesting.
go let him know that.
Everyone is thinking about what would happen if the windows broke in an earthquake. Thousands of liters of water would come rushing out like a tidal wave.
Well, this is an area that we had a problem with the bulge in the sealant, and it's not perfectly even, but it's really not so bad. Yeah, it's really not as bad as I expected.
So far, so good. Despite the immense water pressure bearing down, none of the window seals failed. The general construction is finished. But it has yet to pass muster with the great architect himself. Renzo Piano flies in to inspect the building and see if his vision has been realized.
Normally, the most difficult moment is when the structure goes up and suddenly you realize the proportion. And if you're wrong, unfortunately.
The team is anxious to see how the master architect reacts to the completed building.
At edge, of course, we needed that because this is where we needed. We got to hold the destruction of the. And do you think on the edge of that we can put something that may possibly play with the? Or is this
the beach strawberry is perfect for that.
And you don't see that. But when you are here, a long time ago, Roberto Rossellini was a great Italian filmmaker. He told me something. He said, Renzo, don't watch the building. Watch the face of people coming to the building. You know, when you look at the face of people in the building, you realize if the building is good or not. My face was smiling because other people's faces were smiling. I'm a very lucky man, I have to say. And yes, I was happy today.
I'd like to introduce